Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Conscious View. I'm Tamara. This is my co-host, co-creator, sister, OGAANA. And here on The Conscious View, we talk about anything and everything, but always from a conscious viewpoint. We thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We know how busy life is, and for you to come here and hold space to listen to us talk, we appreciate your presence, and we appreciate the journey that you are on, because we know how hard it is. So we see you and we see your struggles, and we give you so many heart hugs.
Yes, you guys, you are like the reason why we're doing this. It's like literally we are one. Like as a tribe, we're one spirit, we're one essence that is like fragmented into these millions and infinite beings, and it's just magical. And I just acknowledge that you are yourself are a miracle and magic. I kept saying that this week, so we appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
So a little about me. I'm a mystic, an artist, and a life coach, and I've been doing this for about 4 or 5 years. This is going on the 5th year, and I love the journey. So if you want to connect to me, you can find me on Instagram at OGAANA, or on YouTube also at OGAANA. Some Facebook stuff, but I think it's organization.
Oh, yes.
Facebook. Tell us about you, Tamara.
So I'm Tamara, also known as Shine Bright Earthling. You can find me on Instagram. I'm also Shine Bright Earthling with Paradigm Shift Central. You can check out my blogs there at paradigmshiftcentral.com. I believe that's the link, but we will be putting all the links down below to anything that we're going to be talking about today. I'm an aspiring life coach. I am an artist, and I practice magic on a habitual basis. So yeah, we kind of have a combination of different things that we do, but yet so many similarities that we are soul sisters. So again, welcome. And OGAANA is going to introduce to you what our episode is going to be about today.
Today, we're going to talk about how gurus and guides transform their lives and help us, disconnect from or transmute. I don't know how to call it, but it's kind of like it's just letting go of the dark night of the soul, or going through it, I would say. Yes, that's the right word.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really interesting. Whenever we talk about guides and gurus, it's interesting. It's interesting stuff.
Well, and the interesting thing about it is a guide and a guru is, again, so subjective to your own experience. Nobody's going to have, even if they have the same kind of guru, everybody's experience with them is going to be different, and what you learn from them is going to be different. That's something that I would like to open up with, is be open to what a guru could be for you. My own personal experience, I started receiving signs when I was preparing for this episode. I went back and I was reading my journals from when I started getting introduced to these gurus, and I had been getting all these signs, tarot card readings, all sorts of things saying a guru's going to appear, a guru's going to appear. And I needed it so bad because I was so isolated. I was rebuilding this life. It just was coming, like I was still in the dark night of the soul, to be honest. And I was so attached to what a guru was going to look like that I didn't realize I was blocking myself from receiving the gurus who were knocking at the door. It was an interesting discovery of how I led to it. And I was in such a dark place at that time. A very severe experience of depressive symptoms, truly a dark night of the soul. Like everything was broken, and I wasn't paying attention to the universe around me. Even though I was trying to walk the spiritual walk, I wasn't paying attention to the signs. And so the universe works in very interesting and strange but beautiful ways. I started trying to, because I was so depressed, like I was in bed all the time, and I was really just looking for something to numb my brain. So I was looking for something on Netflix one day, and I started watching RuPaul's Drag Race. I had never seen it before in my life, ever in my life. It was something that I couldn't see myself enjoying, but I was just kind of desperate for numbing. I really was. I wanted something completely to take my mind off of what I was going through. And as I started watching it, I really started to admire RuPaul Charles. And some of the things that he was saying within the episodes that I was watching were speaking to me. Like, he had this one contestant on his show who was stuck in a narrative that everybody was out to get them. Everybody was out to get them. Everything was a conspiracy against them. And Ru asked this person, like, is this common? Is this a common narrative in your life that replays? Like, girl, the call's coming from within the house. It's not coming from outside. Like, this is an indoor thing. And it just blew my mind. And then all of a sudden, I was on YouTube scrolling, and I see this advertisement for an interview with RuPaul and Oprah. Just by chance, just popped up on my feed. And I was just like, oh, I need to watch this. And oh my gosh, what a beautiful, beautiful guru RuPaul Charles is. Like, so surprising. Is not somebody that I ever would have thought, hey, this person is going to teach me to own my light. And that is exactly what he did for me. He showed me that, like, who are you not to shine? Why aren't you shining? You are here to shine. Like, why wouldn't you own that? Why are you standing in your own way of your own greatness? And he really taught me that through, you know, watching the way he lives his life. And just, I started to realize that it was me. It was me the whole time, standing in my own way of becoming this amazing thing that I wanted to, because I was scared of it. And he really taught me that. So he was the first one to really kind of reopen my eyes to start looking at the world differently.
That is so interesting how, you were also mentioning in that, I don't know when was it when you mentioned it, but how how like the universe would talk to us in really interesting ways.
Yeah, it just we understand.
Sometimes it will sneak in and find a way to get your attention, because someone else, if it's not you, would be just looking at that episode and just brushing, like, it would just like pass by them. They wouldn't like, RuPaul wouldn't have like stood up for them and get their attention, but you chose, like, you clicked that, and then you clicked the interview. So you did, like, these are little actions when we follow the prompts, like the universe gives us like these swings and prompts, and then we follow them. It never forces something down our throats. So that's something that I really love.
Yeah.
About you. And guys.
Who was your first guide, like, out of a dark night?
Definitely my first guide. I think I was really blessed. I called them visitations because it's two of the ascended masters that showed up, and then the angels started showing up for me. And just like you said, it was a dark night of the soul. I was in depression, and I never wanted to get any drugs or like talk to anyone about it. I couldn't trust anyone. Mm-hmm. And it was indirectly, I had the feeling that I need to do this on my own. And here to keep it to myself, and I isolated myself from everyone. And literally, just I had one of the first visions was an angel, just an angel. And it was so beautiful, and I began like believing. Okay, I kind of like hear about them, I believe in them, but I never had a personal, direct experience that they could just show up to me. And I was like, why are they showing up to me? Am I like important to God? Could I even be important to God, or like to these angels? And I started asking these questions. And then I had told a story in the previous episode of like I had a visitation, or like this vision of the rainbow body, the transparent being. Right. And I said, what does it mean to see a transparent human? Like, what does that mean? And things came up to me. I started dreaming about the rainbow body, which is the second guru, Louise Hay. And it's a very big thing, and in Buddhism, obviously. And I learned so much just from reading about, that vision. I was guided to yoga, to meditation, and yeah. So another visitation that I got was from Jesus, actually, And I feel humble to say that. I don't want to be the person that says, oh, I saw Jesus, but I saw Jesus. That's what happened. It's like, I got this visitation, and I was asking for healing. And it was just, he waved his hands, and I instantly felt just overwhelmed with this peace. Yeah.
So what did you learn from your interactions with Jesus? Like, I found that there was specific things that I learned from all these spiritual teachers that came into my reality.
I think the specific thing that I learned is the power of healing, the power how someone can heal us, and how we can heal ourselves, like the miracle of healing. And it makes perfect sense that Jesus would teach you that. I mean,
yeah,
if anyone would teach you that, it would be him. And I also learned about the ascended masters. Both Guru Rinpoche and Jesus have the similar thing of being able to perform miracles, and also that they came from the light and they went back into the light. They didn't have a mother and a father, figure. Of course, the Virgin Mary, but it's like they were born in a mysterious way, in a mystical way. So they're mystical beings. And so I learned that, and I was like, wow, life is interesting.
Sure is. I love how each one brings a completely different lesson. So after I started stirring from my dark night of the soul, because Ru kind of woke me up again, I'm going to link down below, you guys, that interview Rupaul Charles had with Oprah, because it was really, really powerful. I know people have like a love-hate thing with Oprah, but even the stuff that she talks about there, it was really powerful. There was things that they talked about, how progress isn't linear, like as a society, even we take these leaps forward, but then sometimes we have to wind back and we seem like we're visiting the same problems. It's just like that spiral you were talking about in the previous Q&A. Even society has to readdress problems that we thought that we had a handle on. Nothing is linear. There are different, waves. It's all about the waves and the spirals, right? But after I started really paying attention and realizing that signs were coming, the guru started coming out of the woodwork. And Ralph Smart was the one who taught me the power of words. He may not be somebody that most people would associate with learning how to truly get in touch with your abilities to produce magic or manifest, however you want to call it. To me, it's the exact same thing. But he taught me the power of words and how the English language is tricky. Television, tell lies in vision, like those sort of things that you have to really pay attention. Good morning. I never say good morning anymore. What am I mourning? I'm not mourning anything. It's happy rising, good day. And, society is trapped in these commonalities and these common phrases that are actually really powerful magic working in the wrong direction. And
right? Spells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So he taught me about the powers of words and the power of self-talk, and just how you can really change your reality just by the way you use words. Even like, I never say I'm sick anymore. I say I'm healing, or I'm experiencing tiredness. Like I'm trying right now this month, I'm really working on reprogramming my natural phrase for when I'm feeling depleted on energy. I'm trying to say I'm experiencing some exhaustion. I'm experiencing tiredness, instead of saying I'm tired, because I am is the most powerful statement in magic, in manifestation. If you are angry, you will be anger. If you are tired, you're going to be tired. If you're sick, you're going to be sick. So saying you're experiencing those things, it's not saying deny what you're going through. It's just switching those little things so that you can become a really powerful manifester and really start making your life work for you. Simple things like that. Like my son does the same thing. Like that's something I'm really trying to work with him so that he doesn't have to retrain himself like we did with our words and our phrases. So yeah, that was something that I learned from him. He's a powerful guru, though. Tell me, you must know about Ralph Smart. Tell me your thoughts about Ralph Smart.
But the first thought when someone says Ralph Smart, I'm like, can I get a hello there? And I love his spirit. Like because I'm an empath and I'm my psychic abilities are kind of like crazy. I'm constantly reading energy, and I see I like, oh my gosh, that's how we teach. That's how we really teach and preach by example. But just by being who we are, how we talk, how the rhythms that we use. I think that's something that inspired me about Ralph the most, and it keeps inspiring me. Like I just, I realize like other people also tell me that they're like, we don't know what you're talking about, especially people here in the Middle East.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know quite what you're talking about. Like it's too advanced probably, or like you're crazy or something. But what we know is that we love your energy. We want to see more of you. We want to talk to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like notice how you can hold that happiness and joy energies.
Yes. Well, and that's another thing I learned from Ralph Smart, because when I was coming out of that dark night of the soul, I was really getting called to veganism again. I've been vegetarian forever, but I had kind of gone back to dairy when I had to go gluten-free. And I was getting kind of all these little nudges from the universe that it was time to go vegan again. And of course, Ralph Smart, everybody knows the 7-day vegan challenge. And it was like every video of his, I was just like, oh, Tamara, you gotta stop. But I had that addiction to cheese that was really hard to break. And then I had this moment, and I was telling Sylvie and my son, I'm like, I gotta give up dairy. My body doesn't like it. I was just showing all these signs. And we pulled up beside what I call a Holocaust truck. So it's the truck that they transport animals. And right beside this cow, and it's looking me in the eyes and mooing and crying at me. And I had a conversation with that cow, and I said, never again. I get it. I get it. I'll never do the cheese and the dairy again. I promise. I am so sorry. And I had this moment, but that was something that was triggered by Ralph Smart. It really was. It was a powerful moment, though, for sure. Oh my
God. At that moment, I mean, I'm glad that you mentioned the mama cow, because that moment, that cow was your guru, was your guide for that. The animals also like communicate to us, and once we awaken our third eye or psychic sense or intuitive sense, we begin feeling these that there are these souls. Life,
yes.
It talks to us, and that's, for me, that was another guide. Like the guides, and there are guides and gurus, and there are spirit animals who are talking, who are also guides, and it's nature, very powerful.
Yeah, our world is just dripping with all sorts of signs and information just for you. The universe is speaking just to you if you just pay attention to what is being said or what is being shown to you. You can find the deeper message. I was speaking to somebody yesterday, and we were talking about how I subscribed to the belief that came up in the Celestine prophecy that absolutely any single person that crosses your path, if you take a moment to actually conversate with them, they will have a message for your soul. They will. You just have to take the time for it. Everything is this gorgeous laid out plan just for you. The blueprint is everywhere. The guidance is everywhere. You just have to be aware of it, be open to receiving it.
Oh my gosh, isn't that true? Oh my gosh. Definitely resonates with that, and nature for me. My awakening, I resonated with messages from spirit animals, and then later on in 2017, I began connecting to the tree, the plant, but mostly tree. And I began like, oh, they also are guides.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Since I was a kid, have been obsessed with trees. I literally do hug trees. I have 2 gorgeous trees. I named them. I have an affiliation with trees that goes so deep. There's a tree that I am in love with in the place that I call the wilds. His name is Jake. And sometimes I just need a hug from him, and I'll go just to go see him there because I love him so much. So I get that. And trees can teach us so much, and each tree can teach you something very, very different. That is interesting. That is interesting.
You something really, really interesting about trees. You told me that the name Tamara.
Yes, it's Hebrew for palm tree. Hebrew for palm tree.
Just saying. And I have the palm trees here are everywhere here in Saudi, and I have a palm tree that I call her Mother Goddess. I love her. I think she holds the energy of Mother Goddess, like that, and yeah, it's like so interesting. It's interesting that I've been talking to a palm tree for a while, and then someone named Tamara shows up.
Yeah, you were getting used to speaking my language. Oh, that's funny because what's interesting is I've never actually seen a real palm tree in real life.
Oh, yeah. Until things work out for us and I can fly you here and we can hug our palm trees together.
Yes. So, who is your next guru? I know that when we were preparing for this show, you had said something about Eckhart Tolle, and I was super interested to hear what you have to say about that, because I know that Eckhart Tolle resonated so deeply with my mom that it really triggered a lot within her. I know of Eckhart Tolle. Everybody does. I am not well versed in his teachings. So educate me, please.
Oh my gosh. Let me just lay out a timeline for everyone so you can kind of get me in late 2012 I was in deep depression, and I began having these visions and visitations from Guru Rinpoche, the second Buddha, and from Jesus and the angels, and that's what awakened my third eye. And along the way, from 2013 to 2014, I had so many more stuff, a lot, including spirit animals. I discovered the world of spirit animals. I would have a vision, and I would go to whatsyoursign.com. What's one of the websites I want to put in the description for everyone. And I would just write, about this animal name, and it will give me a description. This woman is so amazing. Maybe we can even have her as a guest. She's so amazing. Who created this website?
Yeah.
And I think she was my guru, or my shaman, if you would, who told me the ways of the nature and the meaning. Also, got into zodiac signs. And then 2014, when I found Eckhart Tolle, and I think that all the books and things, I found them through Mindvalley. Mindvalley was a guru for me too, because they had free, weekly they would do, or monthly at that time. Now they do it weekly. They do free teachings, free coachings, and free live, webinars for everyone. And they had a mission and a mission statement that says they want to educate everyone they want to change education to be education that actually serves us.
Yes, I love that.
I love it. So through the world of Mindvalley and authors and all of these things, related videos kept showing up for me, of course, on YouTube. And then someone mentions Eckhart Tolle, and that he's an amazing teacher, and I see some of his clips on YouTube. Then I go to my aunt's house. She passed away. She had cancer, and I had to stay with her and just be there, around the house, because she wasn't home rest, and when someone is at the end of their life and the treatment's not working, they just stay home.
We call them a hospice here.
Yeah.
Hospice care.
So one of the books that she was telling me, I have all these books and stuff, while we're just sitting there, why don't we read? And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go through your books. And I found the book, a New Earth book from, and she's like, oh yeah, this book, I've never read it, but you can take it. I just got it because Oprah was talking about it.
I love when the universe works like that. That is amazing. Yes, continue.
And then I'm like, okay, obviously you bought the book for me. Thank you.
We're just waiting for you. Just waiting for you.
And then I took the book and I could not put it down. I just received my healing from the visitations, because the visitations definitely cure your energy, like it heals your energy. So energetically, mentally, I started to get healing, but emotionally and physically, I still needed to do the work. And Eckhart Tolle helped me emotionally to discover what the ego is from his book, and the vision for New Earth, and also how the history of humankind and awakenings, and how awakenings is natural, and it's gonna eventually happen for people, whether like in this lifetime or the next. But it's like, you know, that's what taught me, that it's like, you know, everyone is meant to wake up and learn lessons from the drama and the suffering. We're not suffering just to suffer.
No, we're supposed to
awaken.
Yes. That is a wonderful thing. And that makes me very happy that my mom found that, because I think that that generation that followed the World War II generation kind of thing, the baby boomers, they kind of had this very serious outlook on life, and that's just what you do. You suffer. That's the life. You deal with it. And it's like, no, it doesn't have to be that way. And that's something that the millennials are showing us, is that no, it doesn't have to be that way. I'm an elder millennial, so I can say that. There's a reason why we came here to break the system, because it's not working for anybody. That's amazing. Yeah. Bless you. Your ancestors speaking to you. or is it the sage smoke? Is the digital going through your nose?
I think it's for me, like there's this I don't know what they call it, but when you sneeze, when you are talking about a fact and you sneeze, here in Saudi, mom would tell me, "Oh, you said the truth. It's a sign that you said the truth."
Ooh, I love that. I love that. Awesome. All right. Okay. Well, I guess are you done with that, Guru? May I move on?
For 2014, when I discovered Eckhart Tolle, then yeah, should we talk about your timeline? If you can, like, talk about the timeline, like if you remember dates.
The ones that I'm talking about specifically, I know you're telling us. Actually, I wanted to say something. I wrote something down when you were speaking. I was listening to a YouTube video this morning by Lee Hill, I believe. I know the last name might be wrong. So I'll link it down below. And he was talking about how since 2012, there was a 7-year clearing. That's what we were doing. We were clearing space. We were purging, clearing old things. And then the next 7 years is all about expansion. So it's interesting that for you, it's definitely been since 2012. The gurus and guides that I'm speaking of are just the ones who pulled me out of my dark night of the soul last year. So these are very recent people who really helped me accelerate my growth and find my spiritual rituals and like find a very solidified practice. So that's the people that I'm speaking of. And the next person I'm going to speak of is Victor Oddo. Do you know Victor Oddo?
I think I read something for him, but I didn't see.
Yeah. I'll see some of his stuff sometimes, because he is still, to this day, I listen to his and his wife's podcast, the Awaken podcast, weekly. They release one, and then I watch his videos. He usually has weekly videos. He'll talk about moon energies. He's kind of my energetic reporter. So he'll tell me what to expect, what kind of things to experience, or that I could be experiencing throughout the month. And he's usually right on target for what I'm experiencing, and he always has been. And what Victor has really taught me was just, I'm not crazy. You are not crazy. This awakening process can make you feel so crazy sometimes. It can make you question your own sanity when you start triggering all these extra sensory perceptions like clairaudience or claircognizance or clairvoyance. There was a time where I was getting my eyes checked because I thought something was wrong. I went through all these different optometrists just to find out that no, I'm just seeing energy lines and energy patterns, and it's nothing wrong with me. But when it comes to your mind, when you start interacting with your galactic family and you start thinking, well, am I crazy? Like, I'm talking to beings that aren't there. And you know that the 3D matrix would be telling you that you need medicine, that you need to be seeing a psychiatrist, that there's something wrong with you. And he was the one who really taught me that it's okay. And he's the one who started really showing me how to trust the process, to trust myself, to surrender, to really honor myself, and just be okay with what I'm going through. That was something that he taught me in correlation with Aaron Doughty, which they're best friends. Aaron Doughty taught me about reality transurfing, and he really upgraded my knowledge about law of attraction and why it doesn't work for other people. And I truly understood the concept of there are infinite parallel realities. Everything is possible. Anything that you think of is conceivable. It's happening somewhere. Anything that you can imagine, you're creating these worlds. And with the combination of them, when Aaron taught me that, yes, you're a multi-dimensional being. You are not just experiencing this reality. There are fractals of you in all these different realities experiencing different things, which maybe makes sense of how I can have these strong, powerful connections with my galactic family, which Victor taught me, you're not crazy. And then Aaron taught me how it was possible to be experiencing these sort of things. So those two combined really gave me a new lens to see life on, which accelerated my abilities to do manifestation because I truly got the concept.
Oh, wow. I love that. I really love that. It's a blessing. They're all these teachers. That's why I love, just doing some meta meditation where you acknowledge your teachers and you say thank you to them, and then you acknowledge, your loved ones, and then you acknowledge your city, and then your country, and then the whole world. Just acknowledging, every soul, but specifically starting with like teachers. Because it's like, we don't have to do this alone. We're meant to, teachers meant to like give us the knowledge, and we take it kind of like passing the torch, and then we expand on that and pass on the torch to our next generation and keep on expanding our knowledge and light. I want to talk next about also in 2014 when I discovered Mindvalley and the authors, and one of the authors that Mindvalley introduced to me is Carol Tuttle. She is a queen. Amazing. I took their chakras, and it changed everything for me. Now I know about chakras, and that's it. Like, that's enough to say, Once you know chakras, you can't go back.
No, once you know about them and how important they are, it can change everything. And it also changes your ability to be able to care about yourself on a physical and mental level.
Right. And so I took that course, and in the course she took also Q&As and stuff, and someone was asking the same question that I wanted to ask for some, like, it was interesting because it was a recorded session of Q&As, and the person that came up asked the same question that I wanted to ask, and her answer was, you're gonna heal your family. Don't try to don't try to do this on your own and think that you're just gonna heal yourself. You need the support. You need to understand that the amount of healing that you're doing is beyond you. It will go onto your DNA. It will go onto your family. And for me, that was the biggest message when again, it's like we talked about our mission. And it's like, for me, remembering, hey, you have a mission. Remember that.
Yeah. And that sometimes helps get through the struggle of every day. You have a mission. There's a reason why you're here. Absolutely.
And again, like, I'm not suffering in vain. It's like I'm not suffering in vain. Just keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Just keep it on, right? Yes, absolutely. And then my last guru was Jessica Alexandria. She is the creator of Doughty Life. You can find her on Instagram and YouTube. She is a very public witch, and she taught me that there's all sorts of different kinds of ways to practice magic, and there's no one way to be a witch. We all know that I'm not comfortable with labels. They're very limiting. But she helped me refine my love for working with magic and working with plants and working with nature and fairies and really embracing that, because that was something I had lost for a very large chunk of my life. And then it just became such a stigma that I shied away from it. I really did. It was almost like I didn't like to use the word God because I didn't want people to associate me as a Christian, you know, like that sort of thing. And I shied away from the practice. And as I got to know her, she taught me that it's okay to, and that was the other thing too. I believe in Buddhist stuff. I believe in Christian stuff. I have all these like multitudes and a kaleidoscope of different ways I apply spirituality to my life that I didn't think I could practice magic. And she kind of taught me that every witch makes their own magic, and they make their own way, and they make their own rituals, and everything is okay. It's just about honoring your own power and honoring that there's something bigger than you out there that you can call upon to help you. So that's something I learned from her.
I want to mention that I'm just seeing a vision of I'm trying to remember the name of the goddess with the elephant head.
Ganesh?
Ganesh, yeah, Ganesh or Ganesha, yes. Yeah. For a second there, while you were talking, I saw like a vision of her around you.
Oh,
like Aurora was around you, so I just had to mention that.
That's interesting. I have not worked a lot with. I've done a lot of work with Krishna at some point. He taught me. Oh, that was actually really interesting how he came into my life. It was a book I was reading. It was an entertaining book, and they just used him as a character, and I was just like, who is this person or this deity, this ascended master? And I started looking into them, but this was years ago. And all of a sudden I was able to freehand draw henna type art. And that's when I started doing like my table and stuff like that, just with a Sharpie. I've never been able to draw before without a pencil and eraser so that I could fix mistakes. And that was just, you know, his energy flowing through me. And it was really, really beautiful.
I just get so emotional when we're talking about, you know, certain guides. They have a strong heart chakra healing energy for some reason, and it gets emotional. And the Indian or Hindu or Buddhist deities, just, oh my gosh, they are so strong. And the heart center, and also the anahata, the heart chakra, very much heart energy. And also like Jesus has that. When I'm recalling his energy, it's ascended masters have so much love, like you've never experienced love before, and it's a blessing that a being can hold this kind of energy for us. I just want to take the moment to acknowledge that energy, that like how we experience the guys, and how it does, like how it really feels like. It's not like we're saying, hey, I just saw someone in my vision or something, or
no.
Or like I saw someone talk about this thing, this author, this teacher online. It's the feeling that you get from that person is real.
That is something that just comes with any sort of higher being. It brings me to tears. The feeling of being with them is so indescribable. Love is just not a good enough word for the feeling. Peace is not enough good word for that feeling. It is so intense and overwhelming, and it's this inclusivity, this acceptance, this like they truly resonate this feeling of you are part of them, and it is this level of safety that we can't obtain on earth. I don't think it's just possible in this realm to feel those sorts of feelings. Like there's a reason why it's a higher plane. and it's intense. Every single time I'm just like crying, like when I'm doing meditations where I'm doing work with angels and they come and they're like, hug your angels. And I'm just like a blubbering mess. Like my eyes are flooding because they're closed. I'm in meditation and I'm just like, do I reach for a tissue? I'm supposed to be still right now.
I know. I totally resonate with that. Like it's so funny. The amount of tears. Yeah. And it's like all this release. And one of also the teachers that I love along the way that, talk about tears and crying are both Abraham Hicks, who's a higher collective intelligence, which is channeled by Esther Hicks. And there's David Hawkins also, who talks about, like, who's a teacher, like a spiritual, he was awakened since a young age, and then when he grew up, he became like a really famous psychologist, and he created the scale of consciousness, which is a very important thing, and like everyone should learn in 2000. And I think in this day, like in the Aquarius age, he's one of the teachers that really are changing the face of the world with his research, like bridging science with spirituality. And he talks about tears and how when we cry, it's really the higher plane. When you connect to higher planes of existence, you can't be like, it's so powerful. It only makes you cry.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was funny. That brings me to something my foster mom told me when I didn't want to cry. I was having a moment, whatever, I was 16, cry over everything. But she told me God gave us tears for feelings we have no words for.
Oh, yeah. That's that point. And then Abraham also says that tears are releasing of resistance. I love that line.
Yeah.
It's because after, like, check in with yourself. It's kind of like a meditation exercise, which is like you're like sitting there, not crying, everything's fine, and then you tune in and you kind of like you cry, and after that second, after you're crying and you stop crying, that's that's sad that you feel. That's relief.
Sometimes I've had some crying where that feels like after I've got a minus or a major sinus infection or something because it hurts so bad. But I mean, obviously it means there was a lot to release. But I mean, emotionally, you feel lighter after tears. I mean, I've never been one to like I cry at everything. I cry when I'm frustrated. I cry when I'm hungry. I'm just a big crybaby. Or some people would say so. Anyways, I let the tears flow.
I connected to you probably 4 months now, 4 months almost, and I've seen you cry more times than a lot of people I lived my whole life with.
Yeah, and you know what though? It's harder to hold back the tears, and I can't help it. I used to like, and I cry for happy things too. So like people don't think that I'm just like always crying because I'm upset. I get so overwhelmed with happiness. Sometimes I cry. I know that before when I wasn't a very high functioning empath where everything would get to me, even at events, I would have to try to psychically prepare myself for my kid's Christmas concert because I'm not just feeling my pride, I'm feeling the pride of 100 people in the room, and I cannot help the tears. They are just like flowing. Weddings and stuff, it's not because I'm so touched, it's because everybody's touched and I'm channeling everybody's energies and it comes out in tears. I'm just, I express myself that way and it's just, I can't help it. I really can't.
And I love that, I love when that's something that I love about gurus and guides, that they reassure you that they give you space, they create this energetic space for you, an emotional space for you, heart space for you, where you can just be, like, experience your feelings, experience your humanness.
Yes, and that's what I love the most about Victor Oddo. Anything I was going through, whenever his energetic reports, like, oh, if you're battling a diet thing, or he'll be like, I binged on sugar yesterday. It came with me. These addictive habits just were resurfacing and I had to redo it. And it was like, oh my gosh, this person who I admire, who is teaching me so much, who I look up to, is also experiencing these things. And that's also why it's important to have gurus, so you can realize how human they are and that they too experience things. They are not at this level that you're trying to get to. They're trying to just help you deal with it in better ways that are able to promote healing, promote the momentum, instead of keeping you halted in those dark spaces.
Yeah, that's amazing. I don't know if we have enough time for me to talk about my timeline more and like more of my guides. What do you think? Okay,
Yeah.
so I wanted to talk about Abraham Hicks again, like quickly. That it encouraged me. I think it's encouraged me so much to channel and to introduce me to the magic of like being, how magical I am, and how like I can use my voice and my hands to write and channel, you know, higher thoughts. Because that's what Esther Hicks does. She channels these, you know, beings, and I'm like, wow, I can learn like everything. As you said, like bringing it back again to everything can be my teacher. So I was like testing kind of like channeling spirits, animals, channeling, you know, again like the balm tree. Like I can, I walk with, she's really close to our house. She really close to our house, and when I'm standing on my window from my room, I also can see her, and I kind of like communicate, and I began having these communications. Like that's what Abraham Hicks taught me, and Esther Hicks taught me, that you are able to communicate with energy. Later on, I had like more like, you know, I've been experiencing like, of course, attraction, as a law of attraction is, more like people who are channelers came into my life, you know, more teachers. And I can't even like, you know, like Bashar, like who else, like I don't remember the name of the teacher, but it's Van Praagh, something Van Praagh. I had a meditation book with him, which was also mentioning the channeling and stuff. And I also introduced to Hay House authors who taught me, like every book that I read and every, you know, session that I did online, taught me so much about little bits, you know, things. When you put them together, it's just made me who I am today.
Absolutely. I love how our experiences were so different. I mean, I have a lot of books too that have changed my life, but my gurus definitely came in a different form, and it needed to be on the internet because I was in the thick of studying and there was no room for books. When I'm like reading psychology textbooks and sociology textbooks, there was just no time for reading for entertainment. And I know some people would be like, well, you could have made time, but it wouldn't have resonated with me at that level. I would have put it down. I wouldn't have actually learned it. So these quick little lessons that were showing up on my YouTube feed were really important for me because that's the language that I needed it to come in at that time. But I love that you have read all these books, so that like our experiences and what we're sharing is so different.
True. And about like also, you know, people who are online, again, I would say that Mindvalley for me was like that portal, that online portal that is just so powerful. What else do I want to mention? Yeah, I want to mention Sonia Choquette. And she did the Trust Your Vibes. That was a turning point in my life when I discovered, you know, tarot cards and oracle cards. You guys. And her as a teacher too. She influenced me so much of just being easy and just being like really enjoying my human experience and the magic of it. And I told you before about the joy guides that she taught me about. Yeah, from her, of course, from her the cards. One of the cards said joy guides, and she was just explaining in the card meaning what's, you know, what joy guides are.
Well, and it's interesting because I'm trying to view my joy guides that way. But I've actually just started even just changing the name of them. When you taught me about joy guides, instead of mischief fairies, and I was always calling them little mischief fairies. So they probably weren't liking that very much. They kind of eased up now that I started calling them joy guardian or joy guides instead. Yeah. Still mischievous.
Yeah, God, yeah, I love the mischief theories, and it's so true that they we all experience. I guess they're like this energy, these beings who everyone experiences in different ways. But we experience whoever's listening that they would hide your keys, like it will feel like you place them there and you can't find them, and they
Yeah.
literally it's like you know for sure like someone moved my stuff.
Yes. Yes. Like, yeah, it wasn't just like I was misplacing things. Like I would put my phone down on a table and I would turn around and it would be gone. And all of us in the house would look for it. We would look for it absolutely everywhere. And it would take us 20 minutes. We'd all be like standing there going like, well, where does it go? Like my house isn't this big. And then we would all turn around and it would be there on the table where we all looked, where it definitely wasn't what before. So I knew it wasn't just that and that they were playing jokes. Oh, for sure.
So funny, yeah. And I feel like that's what they like want, probably get our attention.
Yeah.
Like they wanted to stay and say, "Where's my stuff?" And that's where they something I learned from some amazing Sufi music, and I can't even pronounce his name. It's like really interesting. But I'm also gonna give you a link for his for the talk that I really love, and I recently discovered him a few months ago, and he was talking about how we should come back to nature, just like you said, like work with the elementals and acknowledge these beings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
how important is the spiritual journey.
That's really interesting that you mentioned that because I think a lot of us are being called to protect Gaia and to work with Gaia and to work with the elements. That's something I'm seeing as a common theme. And when I was in not the last semester, but my second last semester of university, I took a sociology of religion class. And what I learned about magic, it like Wiccan or paganism is the fastest growing religion in North America. And people are wanting to return back to that. One, because it's a feminist, not feminist, but a feminine based practice where women are finding their spirituality that has been really stripped from them due to the religious patriarchal religions that we had through the recent centuries that really made women not be able to be part of spirituality. We were really left out of that. We weren't part of the equation. So returning back to that, and it's a return. I'm not saying that it's new. It's a return back to that because I believe before patriarchy was introduced, these kind of practices of being with nature and honoring a god and a goddess and honoring the earth and honoring the elements and stuff was a very common practice. It was just something that we lost that we're being returned to now. But a lot of people I've noticed are getting called by Pan. Pan is a Greek god who protects nature. But we're all getting this call to really start working with Gaia, working with the elements, realizing our powers and using them to protect not just humanity, not just to protect ourselves, but to really start making changes in the world. And when you get really deep into that, when people are collectively working magic or doing intentions or trying to manifest good outcomes together, things like, if we're going to get really esoteric, things like being able to control droughts and making sure that we get the appropriate amount of rain and stuff is something that we can focus on collectively to actually help change the environment.
Yeah, it's like it's reminding us all the guy like the best guidance that it's from a higher being, it's pure and positive. It always reminds you that it's that everything is connected. It's a holistic world. It's a holistic life. Like you're connected, everything's connected.
Yeah.
It just definitely awakens that sense of responsibility and of you. Like you're responsible of the energy that you bring. You're responsible of the things that you do, the choices that you make. They kind of like give you the knowledge. They want to give you the knowledge so you can make the right choice for yourself and the higher good of all. That's something I learned from my life coach. My most recent in the beginning of 2018 is when I met my life coach, who's my teacher for the international coaching license that I'm taking.
Mm-hmm.
And they are a couple, Ariel and Michael. That they remind me of that. Like, how do you know that false from truthful gurus and people and teachers and others that want to actually not just give you information, sell you information, but they actually care.
Yeah.
By that, connected, and we call it integration.
Mm.
And like in the spiritual community, you will hear this word a lot. The word integration and the word coherence. These two words, keep them in mind, you guys.
Well, and I think it's really important, from what we're speaking about, for the audience to realize that gurus come in all sorts of forms. Again, it's just like all messages from the universe. You just have to be open to receiving it in all sorts of different ways. It doesn't have to show up at your door. Like, I was literally wanting somebody when I was searching for a guru. I'm like, I need a guru, I need guidance. I thought that I was going to meet somebody that was going to take me under their wing and bring me to do meditations and stuff. And the universe was like, well, no, I've got all of these different kinds of gurus ready for you, as long as, you're open to it. And once I opened up to it, animals, trees, nature, experiences. Now my tribe, I consider my gurus. Right now, I feel like I'm surrounded by nothing but gurus. Like, they literally have come out of the woodwork, and each one teaches me something so different and so unique that somebody else hasn't. And truly, there's lessons everywhere around us and gurus everywhere around us.
May I say and conclude that probably collectively we are awakened to be in the 5D. Each and every one of us are awakening their energetic body, their etheric body, and we're vibrating at a 5D level. That's really, we are seeing the guru in everyone. We're able to into the guru in everyone.
Go deeper and say we're just seeing reflections of our own inner guru.
Yes. Our own, gods and goddesses, like literally creators of reality, co-creators of reality.
Yes, I absolutely love that. I think that is an excellent conclusion to this podcast. As normal, we're going to have 3 minutes of silence just to honor the space, to honor how the source moves through us so that we can speak and give information to you guys. So we're going to set here a timer, just a 3-minute moment where we can give gratitude to one another, honor the space that we've created, appreciate our guides, our gurus, our beautiful, beautiful messages and teachers. So yeah, we'll start that right now.
Yeah, you guys, you can take that. Like, we're just later.
That was so beautiful. Oh my gosh, I could just see all this gorgeous emerald green, beautiful light just flooding everywhere. It was amazing. And I kind of got a little bit of a nudge of what we should be doing next week. And if OGAANA resonates with this, I think that we should get down to the nitty gritty. You guys know a little bit about us now. You know how we got to our journey. You know some people who inspired us. Now it's time to know how we start dealing with the spiritual journey. And what we're going to talk about is building your spiritual toolbox and what kind of methods and tricks that you should have within your awareness to help you get through those. Do you resonate with that, OGAANA?
Oh, do I resonate with that? Of course. And I'm like, let me be a character. I have things for you in your toolbox.
Crown chakra has just been blown wide open because that is so important. Building your spiritual toolbox, that is imperative, and it's going to include so many different things. So yes, that will be the upcoming episode. And just so you guys all know, we are available on Anchor as well now. So that is a audio app. So you can, I believe, access it through iPodcasts as well. And we will be releasing this episode, like every episode, on Sundays at 11:11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And we will also be doing the Instagram Q&A Monday morning, 9 Central Standard Time, where you can ask us questions. Any questions you want. You can DM us. You can email us at shinebright@gmail or shinebrighthearthling@gmail.com. And you can follow us at both on Instagram, #OGAANA, #ShineBrightEarthling. And I'm going to pass it over just for you. I want to just express my gratitude for you being here with me once again and engaging in these amazing conversations. And it is so beautiful to get to know you on a deeper level. And I appreciate you. Thank you for holding this space with me and creating this safe place for other people to come.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're like collectively creating this. I know that we're collectively co-creating this. I want to keep acknowledging that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I want to kind of like close with a nice namaste. You know, the light in you sees the light in me sees the light in you.
Yeah.
When we both at the same place, we are one.
Yes.
Namaste.
Awesome. Namaste. So you guys, if you resonate with what we're doing, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. And until next time, keep shining bright.
Bye, world.
Bye.